Hi, good morning, everyone. It's weird. I have like a 10-second delay today from the projection screen versus the streaming stream. It's normally like 4. Obviously, I can see the sound, so I'm sure you can hear it. Voice is obviously a little bit off today. It was a tournament weekend, so I was actually my two had their 3 games on Saturday. Sunday I actually helped out with the second team, and it's funny. More noise in my signal. You sure it's not my voice? Sounds like it's overloaded. I don't know. Let me just see. I can try to mess it with it a little bit. It's probably more my voice than it is anything else. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure everything's plugged in. My voice is dying quick. I don't know. Is that better? I don't know. I can't hear. I can't hear the way that I talk on it. I don't have that option. Let me load up this. Oh, I tried to click on the Logitech thing and it says it's installing an update. It's installing an update. It'll relaunch. Let's see if it works. All right, so you should be able to hear me now. Is that any better? Of course, I go to click on the program, and it's like, up, updating. I'm like, no, 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 I didn't give you permission to update. Let me see if you can hear me now. Gotta love this delay. Better, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was the update or what it was. It could be the cicadas, guys. It could be the cicadas. All right, yeah. it probably the program updating. Go Logitech. Yeah, it's probably the combination of Logitech, my voice going in and out, and the cicadas. It's so loud at my house right now, it's insane. And of course, the software has like the noise canceling bit of it, but like I can't quite. I can kind of even with the noise canceling headphones on, right on this headset, I can still hear the cicadas. Like I don't know if we're at like peak season right now or what. It's like insane. Yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable, Neuro. They are so loud. Anyway, so Monday morning, it's kind of a bland, no news Monday morning. So just kind of reacting to headlines over the weekend. So far, again, we're seeing dollar weakness come in. That's been a common trend that we've seen. If you guys attended the Nadex broadcast, I thought that was pretty interesting that we've seen so much dollar weakness this early when we have Yellen saying that it would be great for the country if we raise interest rates. I don't know, and it, I mean, I guess it's great for banking, although banking can make some money on loans again, but I'm not exactly sure why. She's like, "This is great. We're going to spend $400 billion a year. That shouldn't create inflation. We need it. It's good. I don't know. I'm not sure what. I don't know. Does she live in like a medicinal state? I'm just curious. You know. Um, and Todd's like, no, no, no. I mean, the G7 meeting, everybody agreed to put that minimum tax in. I'm like, but the minimum tax is not real. Like you can say, hey, listen, everybody has to pay taxes, but then you get subsidy. Like China gives subsidies to their companies for the lands. Yes, you could say you charge them 15% tax, but they get it all back again in the subsidies that they get versus other countries. So it's all crap. Like I'm glad, like, unbelievable. But yeah, so obviously market was not overly impressed with this. It didn't really make much of a splash. The dollar didn't really move from it. Gold went down. Gold's coming up a little bit now, but it makes sense why it's doing it. So right now, I'd say kind of the biggest piece of the shocking thing. I'm not surprised at all by the dollar yen. The government. If you guys hadn't saw, it's actually down. Where is it? It's down over here. Japanese government said that they would collaborate with the BOJ to revitalize the economy. again, that's a good thing when everybody's on the same page and the government's like, all right, what do you need from us? Again, their biggest problem is they need to make sure that COVID is completely like kind of wiped out for it. I think that's the I think that's the biggest aspect of it. This is interesting here too. You see something from Zero Hedge 6 hours ago that more than one third of small businesses in jeopardy of closing this summer. And here's the way to help small businesses: raise interest rates, Janet. Raise interest rates, and why when they can no longer borrow or they can borrow at higher rates. Yeah. Not that the pandemic funding really helps small businesses at all. It really wasn't designed for that. But yeah, a recent survey says one third. So that's an extremely high amount, right? And they're going to raise the interest rates and make it a more difficult economy. Um, hey, what do I know, right? It is what it is. But one thing I do think we need to point out is the Aussie dollar up 36 is actually a decent amount. It's kind of an outlier. I mean, right now it has just hit kind of it's tied with the most movement with the Aussie, I'm sorry, the dollar yen. Why that's important is we've seen some data, and you saw it. Where is it? It's down here somewhere. Here, right here. The Aussie dollar ignores downbeat China trade data and risk aversion. Remember, Chinese data has the ability to affect the Aussie because they are when the Chinese economy is good, they tap Australia to get access to their resources. The United States, we use China for most, not China. We use Canada for most of our kind of first shot resources. Um, China uses Australia for most of theirs. For the ones that they are using the most of right now. For us, it's more, we go north, but they go south. All right. So this is an important one to kind of bring out. They're still managing to kind of get a bullish kind of bit today. And again, some of that is helped by the dollar as well, but definitely an important currency to watch. You can see that most of it's in the last 24, and in the last hour, it's really not done much. It's retraced just a little bit. But that's the one kind of that I would say is probably the biggest mover, particularly because, again, and we'll talk about it tomorrow, this year-over-year data, CPI wise, is kind of important. It's expected to be almost 2% inflation in the middle of a pandemic, which is, I mean, that's not bad, right? I mean, I don't know how you can say that that's a bad thing. But that data will also kind of help give a little bit of a gauge for the Aussie tomorrow. So that could be kind of an early week kind of trade setup, for what we're looking for, right? But right now, I would say that that's kind of probably this movement will probably start to taper off. We'll see the dollar probably continue lower today. And then again, I would assume there'd be a reversal for dollar strength as more and more people start reading that Yellen wants to raise interest rates. And they're going to start kind of looking at that saying, oh, is it because of inflation? Right. Um, you know, we'll see. All right. So besides that, I mean, there's really nothing tomorrow either. This economic sentiment is not really a huge thing. I guess it's okay. I mean, the German data is probably going to be a little bit important with lack of any other news. But by 5 o'clock, there's already been a trend established for the European session. So we may see whether, maybe a continuation of it. Again, is that one of the earth shattering best? No, no. But when there's nothing else there, a little bit good is better than zero, right? One is always better than zero. So, yeah, yeah, we'll see what we get out of it. All right, so let's jump over into charts. We got Aussie dollar, and actually, I don't know if you guys saw in Discord I just posted. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Look at this full retracement from Friday. Look at this thing. The spike up that we had at 12 o'clock. I don't really look at natural gas too often. I'll kind of scroll down, and I was looking at this. I was like, wait, what? And it went over here. I mean, look at this. Went right back up into that zone. It opened up in that kind of top area. I mean, talk about a perfect setup on this one. I just don't look at natural gas enough. But man, that's like, Todd's like, you should bring this up next, in 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, well, it's on currencies, not natural gas. I was like, the chart's the same. I was like, do you want me to bring it up? He's like, that's a good question. So I don't know if we're gonna use it or not. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Hell of a retracement down. Yeah, that's a nice little mover. I did not catch this one, but I just happened to randomly have it down here and look at it, and I was like, man, look at that. Easy peasy. Look at that. But yeah, I need to do it more. So I don't know. I don't think many of you guys trade natural gas either. I don't see too many posts on it, but yeah, there's been some nice natural gas trades lately. Anyway, Australia dollar is kind of pushing up. We can see European session open was here. We were flirting around from where we were. I was actually looking for some type of a break of this one, kind of in this area. I wanted it to break. I never got it. It was just literally this kind of spike down and back. I can pull that off. I do think it is important to watch out for this level here. I think this is definitely a kind of potential retracement level in here when it comes back down. And I think it will. I think we will get dollar strength coming back in. Like I said, talking about raising interest rates and things like that, that actually helps the dollar and strengthens it. especially if she expands on that further, right? That could definitely bring us back down. And again, this should be an easy one to kind of take over. It's really going to be a break, though. I mean, it's going to be approximately in here. There'll be a little bit of a trap the first time it comes back down again. It's too easy of a support and resistance trap. But again, look for that to come down in a Harry Potter. It's only about 30 pips, so it absolutely could roll over today. I mean, we're very close, as you guys can see. There was a small kind of, basically a small base and a punch down. It's a level that's been tested a few times. You had three, and then this one literally pushed it to the brink. Ideally, I actually like this level up top a little bit more, the 77.89. It's up in the upper tier, but again, right now with the US session online, we may get the retracement a bit sooner. So those are kind of the two levels, the 77.90, the 77.26. There's a small position probably in here, and again, it may come up and roll, but I don't like the fact that it's pulling back right before that level. I'm wondering if it's going to get buyers to punch through and then roll at 77.90. But I think either of those two is decent as far as shorts go. And eventual profit targets, again, I would say, obviously, typically we like to stay a bit conservative on our profit targets as long as it's over 1 to 3. And you can see, even if I kind of extend that level, right? Even if I extend this and use kind of that whole basing level and just play for the trap, all the way down here is still like a 1 to 8 risk to reward ratio. So it can be a nice little trade setup there, and push back to the downside overall. Just to our conservative target, you're talking about a 63 pip return on that one. So it's decent, I think, either way. We got a good setup there. And again, we could trade it as session opens. I haven't even looked at Nadex for this morning. Pull up another monitor real quick. I'm curious to see, just by random chance, because it's far away, like, is there a knockout up there or something? Forex Aussie dollar, we're at 77.90. Not really. There's a 77.88, but I mean we'd have to literally snipe that one right before it, and it's just it's a little bit off on that one. Let's see. Weekly call spreads. No, there's a 77.40, which is down here, which isn't going to help us. So yeah, there's not a whole lot lined up for that one, unfortunately. So it may be something that if we get closer, maybe we can grab something of a daily on there, or maybe we blow some contracts up and we'll get something in prints a little bit closer. So there's just not, unfortunately, there. But the risk on either one of these two is quite small. Aussie yen. Aussie yen is turning from an area that we would have expected. Again, we had these zones that this one got blew through with its 4. Let's remove these. This one ended up getting shot in, pulled back, and then kind of worked as a prior level. We'll keep this one on as a yellow. You know what? It's so close. We don't need it. Let's pull this. Let's drag this across. We have our 1, 2, 3 touches right now. Do we take another one off this one? Yeah, this is probably not a bad one to take off of. How much risk we got in this? 6. It's not that much. This probably isn't a bad short. We may get some hiccups down here, and that is about. I need to put some hotkeys in here. It's about 20 pips to the downside. This one is not kind of a true racetrack, as we have a touch here, we have a touch here, but it's showing that we have basically more or less smooth sailing down. This was just a European session move, so not necessarily surprised that it turned there for that session open. I would say on this one, this 84.33 level, it's touched 3 times, but we do have higher, consecutive hits to it. So, if you do get short this position and you're going to play it all the way back and get the full retrace in, I would still say probably take my target in that level here, right, at the wick behind. That's going to be kind of the safest level, and that'll be at, nope, not that one. That's going to be sitting right at this 84.40-ish level. Okay. I would say if we can come through and break down there could be some decent movement down here. Like I said, it didn't push very far, and it started to establish new buyers each time it hit that level. So I would say watch for longs potentially right around that 84.33. See how it touches. But targets to the downside for many of these shorts, I think 84.40. Absolute first target. Don't get greedy and try to grab the additional 5 or 6 pips to the downside when that's where the profit target should be sitting. But this one today, I would say I'm probably bearish, right? We're looking for this to kind of find a place to roll. So again, kind of the same scenario, but if Aussie dollar rolls, Aussie yen will typically roll as well. So they're both in a similar area. And this one actually had pushed into a zone where, again, we tested it, but it's really, test number 3 to the downside. I need to be profitable up about 1.5. About 1.5 to 1 is what your profit would be on this one already. So, not necessarily a horrible level to be able to take this, but I think 84.40 is the one we watch for later this week. And again, I would say look for some yen strength to come in, particularly if we see some more headlines coming out of what's it called, Bank of Japan. Okay, Euro pound. So Euro pound has been really nothing but pound strength at this point. You can see that helps when it goes up. Right there we go. Actually, I missed it by one candle. Right there. There's your European Open, straight down. Now we have our profit taking, and you guys can see there's this little area right here. Right, I'll make it bigger so you can see it. Wick, higher wick, higher wick, higher wick. Right, all sitting right in that level. So not necessarily surprised to hit and bounced. I would say right now. I would assume this retraces today, but trying to think if I would take that level again. We had talked last week about this level here, and it didn't quite make it. It went to this lower level here. Let's see. Let me see what the German data is tomorrow. 85.5, 86. I think they missed that last time. Yeah, they did. They went way above last time. Is that going to be an overshoot? You can see last time they were really accurate on the forecast. It was forecast to be 68. It came into 84. So they were really, it's a really, really accurate release. You guys can see how often they hit, right? Trying to see. Haven't had a recent one. What I'm kind of wondering on this one is if they went a little bit too high on the economic sentiment on this one. And again, it should be positive, but the question is if this comes in slightly red at all, is that going to give us an opportunity where price rallies back up again and we get another short situation? They only have about 2 hours left in their markets for today, so it's going to probably start slowing down. I don't know if we'll get a trade opportunity out of it right now, but what I'd be looking for is kind of the next open, which is going to be sitting right here, right? I think this level here is probably, I think this would be too good to ask for. It's like too good to be true. It would require a 25 pip push, which it absolutely can do in the next, 16 hours, whatever, 15 hours. I like this level as far as a short. I think that's a decent level. I'll just steal this so I don't have to do another one. But 86.17, I think, is worth a shot. Like I said, it got front run here. If it punches through, it's going to need something to punch through those sellers. This would be a decent level, and it was an already push off of it last time. But if we can get up to here, I'll just steal this one so I don't have to grab another. If we can push up to that level, 86.17, I think is a decent runner. This is probably more of an overnight type trade. It's going to be a slow grind. So that's for me. During the day, it's probably not worth it just sitting there. Just wait for the slow grind. But I think tomorrow, again, European Open wise, I think I would like to say pound strong. And with that economic weakness, again, expecting that they maybe have overshot it because they've missed it so many times. And again, looking at this, you can say, at least with Germany's data, it's never right. So we're expecting a miss. And if you think about it, they missed so much last time to the top side. It's kind of one of these, they got a 74 and then they're like, oh, we got to jack it up. And they expected 77 and it came in at 66. Not that 66 is bad, but it's lower. Then they put in, oh, yeah, just a little bit. We'll make it a little bit higher. And it came in a lot higher. It's kind of the same scenario, right? It's kind of the same scenario here where we missed by 10, right? And then this one, they overshot it and went the other direction. So again, we get home in like an 84, right? What if you come in at 84 and it's a red number? That could absolutely roll us. So a couple things in there. It's probably decent, but again, we're only talking about 30 pips on that one. Now, Euro Yen's been driving down, down, down. This is where we're seeing that yen strength, and again, the Bank of Japan definitely getting on board is helpful. It is deep in the red. We're starting to approach the lower time frames here. We had kind of a smaller time frame level here, and I'll just extend it across. So we are looking kind of deep in that range, and you can see we have a level here, we have a level here, which we just bounced off of, and you can see we had a basing level here. There's that basing I'm talking about that it's probably going to break through. So we can take this level out now. We don't need it. And again, that's a 6 o'clock run through, so not necessarily important. I would say right now, let's leave this one. We're going to turn this to green. Let's drag this across and have that for tomorrow. Um, right now, let me see. How do we form that zone? Yeah, it's a tested zone. It's only 22. It's compressed. I was like, oh, this could be an interesting level to kind of play a breakthrough, but it's only 20 pips. Trying to see if there's a decent pullback level. Hmm. Trying to think how far I'd be able to take this one up. I wish this candle was over in this area here. This is a bit too small. Hmm. I want something like this, but over here. Like I like how this kind of forms that. I kind of like where we're at right now, right? But this is the initial spike. We're still kind of dealing with the open right now. I like how these wicks come down. We have, the higher one, then the lower, 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 and we form kind of that triangle in there. Um, I mean, it's the same pattern we have right here, which is also it's this, right? And that may be where we wait for it, but that's a bit far for today. Um, yeah, it's 55. It's probably not going to hit that. What is it? 957. I don't know. I see where we're at 10 o'clock or like 10:30 ish. I don't like this one as much. I'd like it if the wick was higher because this is actually broken. So, and this is just such a small level. And we're talking, it's not, you can't even draw it as a zone, right? It's 2 pips, right? ATR 7, it's not even 25% or 7.5. It's barely even 25%. This, it's just too small. So it's not really a level I want to get short from. And this, because it's higher than the wick over wick, I'm just not as much into it. So I'd like to get short. I think again, keep this one on your radar. I think there's a decent level of shorting here at 133.57. We kind of went long. You could have gotten long this one off of here. It wasn't really necessarily the most refined zone. I think right now, top and bottom, I like either of these two levels. There's probably something small here if you can time it with the European Open. And again, it's kind of the same setup as what we just saw for the Euro Pound. Look to see where we are late night tonight. If we come up and we just start basing sideways when we die down, there may be a short here in the overnight. But again, the biggest question we got to worry about here with this Euro Yen is, really from extreme to extreme right now, we're talking about 100. But, from where current price is now, there'd be an interesting Harry Potter here if it was longer, but it's only 20 pips, right? It's not really a lot of room based off the risk level, a decent level worth of risk we would take. So, I would say right now there's probably some selling that's going to come in. It'll probably continue to grind, but I think 32.56, 133.57 top and bottom are probably the way to go. Euro dollar. So Euro dollar, I actually like this one for a short. It didn't quite make it to a 3-1, but when you're taking the basing level here, we opened in it. We were looking for the kind of that short down, and it made it. Let's see, it got to 3.5, right? It got to 3.5. I was looking for more of a push down. I was hoping we'd come all the way back down and really kind of. I had two different profit targets here that I was looking for. I had. Is there a decent one in here? Plus, it's probably going to be huge. Plus is huge. Had one sitting in that level, and then I had another one sitting here. Okay, this is a level that we had prior basing off of. Didn't quite make it, so neither of those two got hit. I would say at this point we can adjust this down, and we'll just slide it right across and put it on the other side. Probably more there is where I want it. Turn this green. Oops, not aqua green. Throw a price level there, and whoops. Crank this one. And again, I'm looking for the extreme range. Now, top side, again, you got to look at this level here. There was basing off of it. It kind of was touched, right? Is it an ideal level to draw from? No, not really. Based off of the wicks, it's kind of just very hard to draw from there. It turns, so it's kind of not the ideal part. This is where this was kind of basically where the weekend gap went through and in our old basing level. It punched lower, it punched higher, it punched lower, it came up and then kind of bounced and went higher again. I would say we can keep it on there and just say, listen, this is an area of interest. We keep using it as a basing level. I don't know that I would use it for a Harry Potter trade because we have buyers arguably here that stopped it, and we have buyers here that as it tried to push and retrace down, they stepped in and pushed it. So I would love to have this racetrack, right? I mean, this is a 50 pip racetrack to the downside. Unfortunately, the entry has kind of gotten a little screwed up at this point. So I don't know. At this point, it's like, I mean, it's not really ideal either way. We got this wick here that we hated. We had that basing level. You know, kind of the intraday area. If we take this across, just to kind of keep it from where it was last week, that's where our biases are kind of at right now. So, could we pull one from here? Yeah, we probably could. I'm just afraid that you know it's not really trending, is I guess more kind of what I'm trying to say. It is an extreme range. I might as well look at it. Let me see if we have a knockout even remotely close. What do we have here? Euro dollar. Where is it? 121.87. 122.16 is the closest. 122.16 is there. Yeah, and that's going to take advantage of this top area, right? That's going to take advantage of this level. So I would say let's probably do that one. This one's a little. There's some sellers in there, but let's get conservative. I would say take it from there, right? We have a knockout sitting. Remember, purple is the knockout color. We have a zone sitting right there. Okay, so for you Nadex traders out there, go from that direction. If you don't know what Nadex is, or you're not sure how to trade it, or if you don't have like an account, if you guys click lower on the Twitch window, you can see where it says Nadex demo. That's how you go ahead and get one. Just click it and it'll pop up, and you guys can grab a Nadex demo if you're brand new to it. That's what I'm talking about when I say knockouts and stuff. Pretty sure most of you guys have it on here already, but if you didn't, that's how you find it. Yeah, so get that one. Get short 122.07, 122.16. Here's the pound. Again, you guys could have traded this pound setup this morning for the session open. We have profit targets and profit taking that is occurring right in this level right here. So it's one you kind of got to be careful of. We got a little bit room to run on it, but I would say, I think that we're seeing the same pound kind of pullback, right, on all trades right now. And it's just profit taking is all it is. But the yen is actually finally getting some strength, so that's not bad. But not much we can do with it right now. I think, again, you can see we're getting in that lower quadrant. Really, we got to get much, much lower down here, the 153 range, before we get into much. And like I said here, I'll extend these across just to there. Don't want to use that low one right now. Not really. Here, I'll extend this across. There. Oops. Pull this there. Take your profit there. And let's pull this there. And make the chart pretty again. Right there. 155.93, 153.85. Profit targets for a short, which again, I think you could be in a short right now, is 154.25 to the downside. Okay. Pound dollar. We just mentioned this a little while ago. We talked about finding a reversal. And again, European session up, and what happens is the US session comes along, and the profit taking is starting to come in. So same thing. I think we need to be negative this one. I wanted to go a little bit higher, get something clean in there. There was nothing really that was lining up as far as, I don't think, did I look at the knockouts on this one? Let's see. Pound dollar. 141.96. No, they're not even remotely close. The first knockout on this one is 142.12. The first knockout is 142.12. Right there. Well, I got that right on. There's our first knockout. So nothing really in range for this one, unfortunately. But I would say that I'm probably better this as well. Again, European session move is the biggie, right? With no news today, maybe there's a move tomorrow. But like I said, the news tomorrow is actually European news, not pound data. I don't think when do we get our pound data this week? Hold on. non-pound. Um, mm, maybe we get some here tonight. Probably. It looks like Friday. Friday's GDP indexes, manufacturing production. So it looks like Friday is going to be the big mover for the pound. So it's kind of a weak also for the pound. So yeah, eh. Not that no news is good is bad news in this case. So extend those across. But again, I'd be bearish the rest of the morning as far as the pound goes, particularly against the dollar, because I think the dollar needs to retrace a bit now. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD is chopping. Look at this. We missed this by just a little bit. We had talked about taking this one, and again, we could have blocked it. We went for the conservative on this one and missed it, and it was a nice little runner. It's consolidating back in. I do think we got a piece here. We still have a Harry Potter trade set up a little bit lower, and again, that's off this prior level here. That's a break of the 121.50-ish level. I do think profit targets to the downside should be decent to that level down here at 120.22. I am definitely more bearish this position, although again, seeing the dollar strength come in is good, but I think CAD strength is going to be something that's a little bit more kind of the name of the game right now. And here I'll click CAD on, and you guys can see the CAD data. Wednesday morning, the BOC rate statement will talk about kind of what recovery looks like. Remember, they've made comments about starting to taper. I think they have to continue on that. I mean, the United States data has been great. We're buying stuff from Canada. I continue to see this one coming back down again. Like I said, seeing all the home prices and everybody now is magically a lumber trader. Everybody's like, lumber, yeah, look at lumber. It's like you never looked at lumber your entire life, and now everybody wants to quote lumber. But home builders are definitely doing well. With rates low before they go, they always want to get a burst in. That's all coming from Canada. So I think Canada is going to make some statements. They're going to be not inflammatory, but I do feel that we will see some continued Canadian strength this week to the downside. So although we had to bounce, we just kind of missed the morning bounce, the kind of U.S. session trade. I think if we get a break of 120.51, look for this one to continue lower. And again, the 1 to 3 is only down to the 120.32. But I think we can make it down to 120.20. I wouldn't be surprised if we get down there by Wednesday. Okay. And then again, topside if for some random chance the dollar is like woo and goes crazy, look for 121.31 to short. Again, we have a parabolic move there, and it wasn't the parabolic move didn't come from the level. It hit the level, it bounced, then it pulled back for the news, and then got hammered down. So it is a legitimately tested level. That it's one of those ones like, how did you know it was going to drop? I didn't. I just knew that we had sellers there in the past. So again, it was a interesting trade setup. And again, this old level on here, we had left it on. You can see base in here, pop to go, based in again, and then use that same level to the downside. So definitely an area of interest. And again, one way to play this may be to look for this to punch through, maybe to take this high out and then pull back. And there's the potential for this one to come here up if we get some dollar strength out of this. Right. And with what we saw today, that could actually be on the plate for tomorrow. But right now, the setups that I have that I'm waiting for are the short here, a short if we can spike, and again, depending on the timing and if we can get some grinding motion, if we can blow through, you can see area of interest here, based in it again. So it's an area that price likes right around this 121 to 190 mark. So again, punch through, come up as high to take out the sellers here, pull back down to that level, and then boom, take off for the 121.31 in the dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, I actually thought we'd get a little bit more movement off of. Last week, we were talking about these two coming down, and us, we were looking for a way to get long this position. We were just hoping that we could get down before the news came out. Unfortunately, it just based sideways and kind of died on us and went up before pulling. And again, we were looking for the pullback. The pullback happened in the European session, but we were looking for the longs. And then again, we got the parabolic retracement, moved back down again. We're kind of in the same level. And again, I can mark the level off right here. You can see that it's been there numerous different times. Is an area to magically go long off of. It's all right. I mean, again, this is going to probably move slower. These big moves are all news based. That's where they come from. It's very big in the catalyst, right? We don't have a catalyst today for the most part, so I wouldn't be actually surprised if this now continues to, if it starts to come down and grind sideways, look to go lower and come down here. I would say, as far as the best kind of U.S. news this week, it's probably Thursday. I mean, some people like Jolts, but I wouldn't say it's a big mover as far as currencies go. The CPI month over month will be important. Like I said, the CPI has been, you know, it's been higher than expected, and they finally raised it a little bit. But I mean, if this thing comes in again, even at like a point 0.6, right? That's not as high as last time, but it's still higher than the expectation. I mean, every time they do this, it keeps adding to that yearly kind of inflation number that they're like, nah, it's going to go away. What if it doesn't? I mean, imagine if this comes in at point 0.8 again, right? Imagine if it comes in at point 0.8. Because remember, they said it was supposed to go away, right? It's transient. It's the inflation's going to come, but then it's going to go. It's like the tide, right? Granted, transient typically means like in and then out. Shouldn't that mean we have a negative number? Because if it keeps going plus 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 plus, and that's not transient. That's just additive, right? That's like accumulation of inflation. But yeah, so I almost want it to come in at one point, like point 0.8, just so Powell can be like, well, I don't know what's happening now. We've lost all touch with reality, right? But that's going to be the best one for that. So again, dollar Swiss. It's going to be more subjected to headlines. We come in and we start basing low into this, then look for a short down to 189.47. We can remove this right now, and again, you can see we didn't even get close. We wanted the knockouts, and it did what we wanted. It didn't give us the drop down first. It based here and then gave us the drop over here. So, but I think either of those two levels are still valid down below. Drop one here, drop one here. Again, we could probably adjust this up top just to make sure we get the full. Yeah, I'll put it there. And we will come back and change this one to a red as well. I knew I had one on here somewhere. We're going to box it into this range now. Actually, we'll go here. Gives a little bit more room to run. Yeah. 1, 2. It's not as fresh as I'd like, but yeah, we'll keep it up there. Just extend these across. Oop. To like lock that down. That's a higher level. I'm trying to do the extra work on it now, so I don't have to touch it tomorrow. Not my most favorite pair. All right, dollar yen. So dollar yen, seeing this one to continue to drop. Now look at this one. We hit this one. Basically made attempts at it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit. Did not actually hit the level, but again, you can see hit. Hit. I mean, really number 4. But look at this. Buyer stepped in. 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 You expect it to drop. Here's the next level. We're looking at this one is the 109.77. We can remove this one, and we could actually, I guess, adjust it a little bit higher if we wanted to, just to use it later. Actually, in reality, that's probably where I should have put it in the first place. But yeah, there's your 1, 2, 3. There's 4. There's a went through. 109, I think, is a decent level. This actually gave us a big push. It was a 7 o'clock in the morning kind of rally from there. So I think it's a level we look for. We got a little bit more room to run, and this would be profit taking. It's about 10 pips lower from where we are in the dollar yen. Across all the pairs, we've seen yen strength. They're all doing the same thing: euro yen, pound yen, Aussie yen, all coming straight down, looking for levels. They will have to get some profit taking this one, but again, the data from the news from the BOJ was good. As far as the next decent level, this one has been a little bit harder to trade. Like I said, extreme ranges were good, but when you're looking back in this level here, like just below, this is all pretty choppy. We don't have a lot of clean entries. We did have a stop here down here at 108.62, but it's pushed it literally to the kind of the brink of breaking. So I mean, it looks like it's forever far away, but we got this level all the way down here, and that's like really like the next like clean level, right? The last time we really had strong momentum in a testing of a level, it's all the way down here. Like we're talking far. So, oops, let me unlock it. Let me bring it across. You can see how far back it was at this point. Okay. So I would say right now, again, we still need to focus on this top area here. Right. But as far as anything else in here, this level 109.07 is kind of like the best bet for a kind of a turnaround. Now, I do think this one goes up tomorrow. with 7 pips to go, the question is, can we get enough buyers in there on Monday to really kind of bring strength back in? Is there going to be enough profit taking in the dollar weakness? I don't know. It's kind of funky on a Monday. And again, the dollar index, it's in a level where buyers should be stepping in, but it is starting to push and base in there. So it looks like they're going to make a valid attempt to push the dollar under. And again, we're 90.03 right now. 90 is a psychological number, right? Obviously, all the round numbers are, but particularly something like 90, which is right there, right? 90 for the dollar index, and again, the Dixie is not something we're necessarily trading, but it shows you kind of where the dollar's thinking is. There's going to be a response for this one, and the question is, are we going to base along it and pop? And again, if this holds and is unable to break 90, right? Again, it's been quite negative. Quite negative. We know we have, buyers that step in. Actually, I guess it's a little bit lower right here at 89.90. If we can get this to hold here and roll, that leads us directly into this dollar yen trade, right? And again, a little bit. I mean, this continue to push. It can go just a little bit lower here. Again, this will move faster because it's getting some yen help as well, right? Dollar index is just a dollar. This will come down. It's there. I would say it's a decent trade. I don't think we have anything necessarily lined up on it. I think I looked at this earlier. 109.07. There's a 109.01, which is right here. 109. Oh, I was so close. Right? There's a knockout bracket that's right there. So it's not bad, right? It's about 7 pips below. So I mean, again, decent risk if we can get down to there. But we really need, the way to play this one is look at the dollar index, look for it to come down. And again, we're starting to form that base in a level right now, which is great. If we can get a little bit more yen strength helping push down, that could be a decent rollover for kind of a reversal for tomorrow. Okay. Let's go to indexes and look at those. Now they've all turned red now. I'm kind of surprised. So we had an area up here we were talking about. We were looking for red, and again, it kind of gapped below. And all it's done is, again, this was the overall thinking. It just grabbed the higher level, right? Inside of that same level, it grabbed it and it's pushing it down. There is kind of a racetrack scenario over here as well. Let's move this over right in here. This will be somewhat of a support and resistance trap. People will see this and say, "Up, if it gets below that, we're shorting it." And again, it's a valid setup. I would say downside on these, I would be looking for profit target or profit taking down here at 41.95. I think that's a decent level. I remember we were trying to hit that 42.24 forever. We finally got up there, and again, it's provided another opportunity. But lack of any news, let's see, is there any big headlines that I've missed since we've been broadcasting? No, we're talking about 3-bar reversals. What does the tax mean for the US dollar? Are they talking about the global tax? Yeah, the G7 global tax. Welcome, well done. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean that's it. There's been no real headlines. That's a top one because Floyd Mayweather, right? Yeah. So I think that will probably be short lived. But again, global taxes. Put it this way: the global tax helps us in the fact that if she raises our interest rates, the idea is, oh well, if you have to pay taxes everywhere, then there you go. We're not on as bad of a ground, but the reality is it still doesn't necessarily help us. So, but you're seeing this again. Looking at what's moving the most right now, we talked earlier today about how YM was the strongest, NQ was the weakest. NQ would be the one that you would want to get short in any type of rollover. And again, that one is down. Right now, it's the most. And it did. It grabbed the kind of the same level here that we were talking about. Had you made the adjustment off the gap, right, we would have adjusted this slightly. And again, it's kind of the same thinking, right? If you adjusted off of where the gap was, there would have been your new zone. There would have been your 8:30 in the morning hit. There would have been your short, and you could have adjusted it. But I'm looking at the same thing. I am looking at this area right here as far as taking a short. You can see this blew through here. We're cleaning this up, but this is where we had last week. The same thinking, right? We had this big 2-bar kind of rally, and we were waiting for it to break through that level. And again, it happened fast. So it's kind of the same thing, looking of a break of 13,695. Again, profit taking. This one doesn't have as clean of a base, right? I'll just pull this. Trying to see where we would say, hey, listen, that could be an area to go long from. Probably there. It's not the low, but probably there. Would be on the other side. Depends what time we hit, but I would say somewhere along those lines. Okay, but that would be the trade setup. And again, the way to play this one, I would say probably Harry Potter it. Put a level in there, just so I don't confuse everybody. I'll do it this way. Hopefully, you guys will understand what that means. There, reversal, profit target. Oops, I keep doing that green today. I don't know why. All right. All right, so that's NQ. And like I said, that was the one that you wanted to play short more than the other ones. That seemed to be the weak boy of the day. And then this one, again, literally turned, never gave us the break. And if you guys mentioned Nadex presentation, I was like, listen, this is a Harry Potter. If we can break it, if we can break and go up and then come back down, but we didn't. We stayed in the same zone, which was prior. It was a short level. So I was hopeful at 9 o'clock when we were kind of sitting at the peak here. I was like, man, we just need a little bit more of a push. If we can get that positive feeling at the open, then the pullback's there, but it didn't. The sellers stayed where they were. And again, we're in the red area, so it's been a straight down trade today. So, unfortunately, that's why, again, it's why it's called trading. It's an if this, then that. The if never happened, then that never worked either. So, without the first piece, you can't do the second. I would say next area where I think we have decent buyers coming in, probably down in this level. I would be running this one probably short the rest of today. I can remove this. It's from the European side. And again, here is the European session from 3 o'clock until the U.S. session. And then the UN session so far has been retracing exactly what we did in the European session, right? And again, decent trade setup. I was hoping that we'd get through. We didn't. But again, opening session in a level, if you can't break through the top, again, it's a reversal thing, right? It's profit taking. So it's just nothing but come back down. But I would keep those on our radar. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but 34,550, I would say is the next area that's decent. If we can get all the way down, if we can grind all the way down there today, if we just say negative, 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 we can all send Janet a message. European Open, I would say that's probably not a bad level to kind of come off of, right? If we can get to, I forgot I'm on a 15-minute chart now. I was like, why is this taking forever? Here. If we can grind there, European Open, I think that's a decent move. If we can go to here to here. From now till then. Okay? I like that as far as an entry. All right. Let's go to oil. So oil, you guys remember last week, we've been talking about the 69.60 forever. You can see that here's the European session up. 9:30, boom, straight back down again. Nice runner from that level. Came up, touched it again, pushed lower again. We gapped a little bit higher over the weekend. Came up, and it didn't break through the top side of that same. Again, this is a higher time frame level, and it drove it all the way back down again to the same level. And again, not surprising. There's your tested level right there, right? You may say, well, what do you mean tested? Well, I mean, there was your, I can't see it on this one, but you can see on the 15 really well. There was your base at the bottom, right? There was your base. There was your test on the retracement to show you that there are still buyers there. There was your touch. There was your touch. And then it was off to the races higher from that same level. Okay. So it's a level that we can leave down there. I mean, obviously, this is a 15-minute chart, so it's rather small. But you can leave it and see we've hit this level a few different times. I think at this point, it's probably getting to the area where we're not necessarily going to take a long off of it. But if we switch it over into the yellow, it's kind of one of those trades. It's like, yeah, you know what? It's close, right? It's probably due for a break, right? If we can go lower. And again, that may have something to do with gold and interest rates and the dollar as well. But, that 69.60, upper area of the curve is still something we're looking to get short on. Oil inventory report this week. Let me see. What are they calling for? They haven't put it up yet. I was trying to see if they'd given us the forecast yet. I guess it'll be out later today or first thing in the morning. Yeah, I'm trying to see. I mean, obviously last week was a big miss. It was supposed to be -1. It came in at -5, right? A little bit worse. I'm wondering if this week they'll overshoot it and, it'll give us an opportunity to get short here. But this level, it's obviously been touched and tested and pushed pretty deep. So I would say, bearish for the rest of the day, probably in oil. Could we rotate off here at the close for open or for oil? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's definitely something that could come up to 60, what is it, 68.90, right? But if we come down and start basing, look for this one to fall, right? Look for it to fall if we base in this level. I mean, so, if you're looking for a trade for it, 68.85 to the downside. Look for that one to come, and that may give us a little bit of a problem, but look for maybe that for tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see if we have enough power to kind of really come down here and then drive it lower. But the economic data may help a little bit tomorrow morning, but it's at 5, so it's pretty late. Gold's trying to grind back. I mean, I would say there's anything earth-shattering here. Since the European Open, it's been pushing higher. Again, you talk about raising interest rates, it's going up. But I think, 1894 is a decent level. It's been touched, and again, it was not only the initiation of the move; it halted the big progress from Friday, and is grinded right back down again. But if you look right now and see how much wick and how little all the bodies are here, it's not an ideal trading situation. Um, I don't know. Like I said, they'll be profit taking the overnight. I think 1894 is the way to pull the trigger there for whether to get yourself out or to get in some type of a short position. Um, I think, though, again, overall, we're thinking gold is probably more to the top side. But we'll see. Thursday with CPI is a great day to be looking for gold. Monday with no news is not necessarily as good a day. And again, silver, same thing. We're back up in that level right now. It's chopping forward. It had a retracement off of Benigan C. It's made an attempt, but it's basing right below. So it's trying to punch through. If you guys are really looking for something for silver, again, if this breaks through, look for sellers stepping in, probably in this range here. You'll see some profit taking. I don't have another really decent short on this one until 28.63. So it's got some room to run. All right. But yeah, that's kind of it. Let's see. Is there anything else earth shattering? Let's see. Is there any other headlines that have been out that are like, woo? Um, the EU says its patience is wearing thin in talks with the UK. Okay, not surprised. And that's it. There's not really anything else in here. We're back to the Floyd Mayweather story. Look, the dollar's already been pushed. The tax deal has already been pushed down. We're back up to Floyd and the YouTube kid. Let's see if there's anything in there. They're just talking. They're threatening. If you continue on the confrontational path, like they're gonna, who cares? They're gonna stay confrontational. They don't care. Like they already told you, like they already flicked you the bird and said we're out. You think they're gonna be like best buddies now? Come on. This is interesting too. I don't know if you guys saw this one. All right, so Forex Factory is now in trouble. Frozen but not forgiven. U.S. student loan debts are coming due again soon. That'll be interesting to see as well. How that starts when people start having to pay student loans again. This should affect retail sales numbers, right? So once the student loan debt is turned back on again, expect that we have not so great retail sales, which could also lead for some great short trades. So that's coming up too. Not obviously in the next couple of days, but we'll see. All right, so that's it. It's Monday. You know what else you want to do? Not too much, right? There's not much out there. We had some early morning trades, and that was it. So I'll give you guys about another minute. I didn't even check chat today. What are you guys talking about, chat? Oh, it's the cicadas. Yeah. Yeah, the good old cicadas. Ernest, is it too hot in Texas yet for cicadas? Like if they left and just said, forget this? I feel like you guys, I feel like cicadas are like an annoyance of like regular regular weather. I feel like Texas, you guys just go right to like actual locusts, like real things. See what you say on that one. I know you have a little bit more delay than some of us. That's what I feel like. I feel like cicadas is like all like the I was just buying tickets. Yeah, I feel like that's our problem here. It's like, oh, we don't ever have anything like this. But I feel like Texas, you guys get like tornadoes and locusts, like actual real locusts, not cicadas. We don't welcome cicadas here. But are they that bad there? Do you even have them? Like my sister hasn't really complained about them. I mean, like my sister's. I mean, you guys know my sister's in Austin. Like she has tarantulas that like walk across her yard. She's like, yeah, it's just like a big black softball that like slowly walks across the yard. I feel like if there's like a cicada doesn't move fast, I feel like if you guys actually had them, I feel like the large spiders there, if it can't be smoked, Ernest, I will send you your smoked cicada recipe if that's what you're trying to tell me. But no, I just feel like if cicadas are actually a thing, I feel like you guys are going to have like a tarantula explosion in in Texas. right? Because I mean, it's not like cicadas move; they fly on the ground, they sit there. I just feel like tarantulas will be like, "Yep, thank you. There's one. There's two. There's three. Tarantula babies everywhere." And like scorpions, like I feel like scorpions would also do well with cicadas, right? Last we had them was maybe 5 years ago. Yeah, so you're on a different cycle. You don't have the Brood X ones. Yeah, I didn't think you had them. I just feel like everything there between the fire ant problem that you guys have, between the scorpions that you guys have, between the tarantulas that you guys have. I mean, Texas sounds like a great place to live, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and close that giveaway down. Let's see who's got it for Monday the 7th. Winner of today's drawing is Ernest. How many tickets did he buy? He had 3. He was stacking the odds in his favor today. Wealth Builder tried to put up a little bit of a fight, but you guys let Ernest steal another one. Yep. Mark that as complete. Let's go ahead and give him his Pip Chips leaderboard. Let's go to, where is Ernest? Ernest spends, but he comes back again. He's like the guy that throws down lots of chips on the roulette table. We put spiders on skewers. Yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah. I mean, my sister, they have like, I mean, she sends me stuff all the time. And I'm like, you know, like, I'm like, what is that? She's like, oh, that's a tarantula in the front yard. I'm like, what? Like a big hairy spider? She's like, yeah, all over the place. So I don't know where Marina is today, actually. It's Monday. Maybe she partied it up. Marina partied it up all weekend, so. All right, guys, it's 10:30. I'm getting out of here. The girl is unhappy. I need to go get her some food or something. So I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. You guys have a good one. Good trading. If you need anything, go ahead and shoot me a message on Discord. You guys take care.